What is up? It's the Fragrance Apprentice. Very, very excited to be showing you this review of Salted Green Mango by Strangers Parfums. It's a fragrance I've been wearing quite a lot of this year. It's something I'm really looking forward to talking to you about because I think it's a very unique take on citrus and on fruit. I think that the man behind this print, very prolific, has a lot of projects going on at once. I don't really know how he does it, but I think that he's got a really unique voice with fragrances. I think that he's not afraid to bring original content to the fragrance community, whilst at the same time wanting to make stuff that is wearable and that people will like, you know, not just crazy niche heads like myself. Now, I appreciate this, I appreciate what he's doing, but I think that there's a lot of people out there who could really enjoy what he's attempting to do. So Salted Green Mango is the perfect fragrance for you if you want something that is unique on the citrus front, then this is definitely something for you. If you're a fan of Xerjoff's Neo, if you're a fan of some of the more fruitier kind of Acqua di Parma fragrances, if you're a fan of Creed, then this could be something for you. If you're wanting to explore how citruses can be utilized in a more unique and organic way. So what I'd say for you is that if you're looking for a casual fragrance, if you're looking for something that you can wear a lot outdoors, if you're looking for a perfect spring-summer casual fragrance that, I don't know if this would make necessarily a good signature scent, but if you're out a lot, if you're outdoors, if you're going to barbecues, if you're going to social situations and you want something that has a citrus touch but is also kind of warming, then this is absolutely perfect for you. This can also be worn in the autumn, which we're coming up to now, which is where I felt it was still relevant to talk about, because it has the note of chili pepper. Yes, that's right, it has the note of chili pepper. With all of the other notes, it creates this very not resinous but resonating fragrance that can be quite nose-catching, if you will. This is part of the 24/7 series. It came out just this year, so it's brand new, really. I was given this for free by the brand creator Prin. I was actually introduced to him via Timmy. I can totally see why those two would get on with each other, because they're both prolific workhorses that just don't sleep. So yes, this was given to me for free, but it was given by request. I'd sampled this previously. He'd given me a couple samples at Arsons, and I had decided, you know what, this is great, this is fantastic, I really see the vision, I really see what's going on, I really appreciate what you're trying to do, so I would like to review this, and then he gave me this bottle for free. So, I've had this fragrance on here for about 45, maybe, yeah, 3/4 of an hour, 45 minutes, give or take. So I'm going to spray it brand new on this arm on my left. It's a somewhat linear fragrance, but the opening is really delightful, really intriguing, really interesting. If you're a fan of things like Millésime Impérial, which of course I am, and the James Healy one, Salmoran, which has a very authentic sea salt note, then you're going to really appreciate this for what it is. So, spray is great. This is a 30ml, by the way. So as soon as you put this on, let me put it like this. With citrus fragrances, the usual thing to do with a very citrus-orientated fragrance is you get the neroli, you get the bergamot, you get the citruses, or whatever it is, and you create peaks and valleys. And this is great, so you get a bit of zest here, and you get a bit of citrus there, and then it plays down to the other notes and whatever. Regular citrus fragrances can be very hyper, can be very fun, can be very energetic, and that's great. But this is very grounded. This is very consistent. This has got a real sort of gravitas to it, and I think that's quite hard and quite difficult to do with a lot of citrus-heavy fragrances. So there's been quite a lot of thought put into that. I could imagine that Prin thought to himself, okay, how would you do that? How would you create something like that? And it's more like the mango outer shell rather than the innards, if you will. The innards and the freshly cut mango scent is something more reminiscent of the new Angel flanker, Le Croisière, or I don't know, actually, can't remember what it's called. But the best iteration for that I've smelled recently has been Oud Rain by Rainier. But this is kind of the outer shell, this is the warmer, deeper elements, like I said, converging. But that sea salt opening gives it a sort of a real, fresh, natural spray onto you, and so it has a very, very good and very, very solid natural opening. Nothing smells synthetic, nothing smells fake, nothing smells as though it's been made in a laboratory. It smells very real, and you get extra points for that. There's been a lot of consideration, a lot of ideas put into this fragrance. As it dries down, that I think is consistent. It just goes deeper and deeper and creates a more warming and wonderful scent. So the scent is top notch. I would give it easily a 5 out of 5. Thought put into it, great ideas, and just a wonderful wearable fragrance. I also wanted to mention just very quickly there, seaweed. Seaweed is listed in this. I don't really get it, to be completely honest. I certainly get sea salt, and I get tropical fruits mangled with sea elements, but seaweed as a note, that isn't the first thing that would really come to mind describing this fragrance. I think that it's got, I think the chili pepper is something I would definitely go for, because it has that kind of bell pepper, chili pepper, fruity nuance, vegetable nuance. But seaweed, probably, but I think that the blending is pretty damn good, so it's probably all in there. But yeah, a solid 5 out of 5 for this. Just so well done, just so well thought out, bringing different and new ideas to a citrus-based fragrance is always a great thing, always a great thing to see. So a 5 out of 5. Moving on to performance, because of its balmy and not balmy. I said this on the top 10 summer. I feel weird saying that, because in cricket there's the balmy army. No, that's another story. But yeah, because of that kind of oily, balmy texture, and with the depth and with the deep elements, you're not really going to have too many problems with their performance at all. The projection is very, very good. Very, very good, actually. You'll definitely project pretty well. A few people have noticed me wearing this, and when it's hotter, when it's warmer, when it's 26 degrees centigrade plus, this is going to give you a really, really solid outward projection, but it never seems to be too engulfing or too horrific, too intense. It never comes across cloying, and that's because of the meticulous balance with all of the things in the scent just being perfect, if I'm honest. So projection, for what it is and for the idea of that it's a scent and fruity based fragrance, I would very easily give this a 5 out of 5 because it just works so well and just does everything that you possibly need. Longevity is perfectly fine as well. I get about 10 to 12 hours. It's always consistently there, but doesn't overstay its welcome. It's a citrus-based fruity fragrance. You don't really expect too many things performance-wise from those kind of fragrances. You can be very, very liberal when you're giving scores. I mean, you know, things like Armani, Dahiva, and Millésime Impérial in themselves are not very, very good with their performance, but this one is, and I think it's because it has all of those more vegetative elements going. So yeah, 10 to 12 hours is very, very good, especially with this type of scent, so I would be happy to give that a 5 out of 5 as well. There's a great deal of quality here, and I think that within the fragrance world at the moment there's either two extremes, and that is either really, really out there, outrageous, crazy like fragrances that are just mad, like things like Ditch and a lot of the Amouages that are coming out where they're just like, whoa, okay. And then on the other scale you have things like Yves Saint Laurent's Y, where it's just very generic and very, very straightforward and whatever, and it's difficult to just find yourself in the middle. And I think that Prin is attempting to do that. So when it comes to feedback, the honest truth is that it wasn't, if you're somebody who's just like, you know, you want a compliment bomb, you want really positive feedback constantly, this isn't going to do it for you. This really isn't. I did get good comments, but it was usually I had to ask. You know, I'd say, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? I did have one unsolicited comment when a friend, lady friend, did say, "Oh, that's nice, what are you wearing today?" And I was like, "Oh, it's this," but that was one of the only, if not the, yeah, it was pretty much the only one that was unsolicited, somebody coming to me and saying, "Oh wow, you know, what is that?" You know, people like it. If you ask people, you know, what do you think of this? Nobody says, "Oh, that's awful, oh, that's terrible." But I think that people aren't really just like blown away or taken aback. It's very unassuming in that way, and it's quite a humble fragrance. And this isn't going to reach out and grab people's attention, because it doesn't really want to do that, and that isn't really the vibe of what's going on here. It's a super pleasant, unique and interesting spring summer fragrance that I really love. But if you're looking just for compliments, if you're looking for, you know, something that's going to get all that attention, this might not necessarily be the one for you. Price point is just impeccable. Just impeccable. You can get this for around $70, $75 US American for a 30ml. For the high amount of natural quality, and for the originality, and for the fact that this is truly a piece of fragrance art rather than just trying to be a mass market superhero, $70, $75, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. So that's a thumbs up from me. All round, I think this is an absolutely wonderful and brilliant fragrance. I love the ideas that are coming out of Stranger's perfumes. I've got a couple other bottles I'm going to be reviewing, and you know, originality is king. Originality is key, and I'm always going to love fragrances that bring something new to the table and don't just stagnate and don't try to be the same thing over and over again. This is a very original idea, a very original composition, especially with everything that I've talked about in the scent. It's a new idea, it's a new thought in the fragrance world, and it isn't terrible, it isn't over the top, it isn't crying out for attention. It is what it is, and it does it with a lot of class, with a lot of prestige, and a lot of dignity. So for me, it's getting a 5 out of 5, very easily for me. And if you like the sound of it, then I would totally check out Prince's website, Stranger's Perfumes website, and get yourself a sample. And I'd sample some of the other fragrances, because all round, all of them are quality. I'm not a fan of all of them. I don't think that all of them are completely amazing, but I think that many of them have got great new original ideas. So that is the review. I hope that you got everything that you wanted out of this review. I hope that you got the information that you needed. I will be uploading something tomorrow. I didn't think I'd be able to do it, but I'm being consistent, and I'm getting a lot of content out for you guys. So I'm the Fragrance Apprentice. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, I'm out.